I didn't know what to put on my computer screen, so we have this. This is all I can offer you. On my computer it's low quality, hopefully it doesn't look low quality on the camera, it probably will. Hey guys, long time no see. That's because of uni, the joys of third year. So today I am going to be showing you my top 10 films and series that I am looking forward to in 2021. Required they actually get released. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the barrel at number 10 because why would I tell you what I'm most looking forward to first? I want you to watch the video. Anyway, at number 10 we have Moxie. Based on the book of the same name, Moxie follows a young girl fed up with the sexist and toxic status quo.
Wow, no, stay to the stuff you know.
At her high school, a 16-year-old inspired by her mother's rebellious past publishes a zine that sparks a school-wide coming of age. I'm going to be honest, the only reason I'm slightly interested in this is because Amy Poehler is directing and starring in it. However, going off that synopsis, it gives me really bad Disney Channel original movie vibes. Like, did we not learn from the mess that is Radio Rebel? And read it and weep. Whilst I was writing the script for this, I discovered that Clark Gregg is going to be starring in it, or well meant to be. Don't trust everything you read on Wikipedia, kids. Which is going to be weird because I just see Clark Gregg as Phil Coulson, so it's just going to be Phil Coulson in a coming of age film. Yeah, that's going to be weird to watch. So sliding into number 9, it's quite a shocking one. If you know me, you'll be surprised at where I've placed this. It is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Now I say this is a shocker because Ghostbusters, especially Ghostbusters 2, is my all-time favourite film. Like, I love it. So I should be excited, right? Wrong. Very wrong. Unlike everybody else, I enjoyed the 2016 reboot. Save getting your knickers in a twist. We'll table this discussion for a later video, okay? Personally, I thought the 2016 reboot was a fun and unique take on the franchise that was like primarily aimed at an older male audience. So like reshaping it and putting it out there for a wider and younger audience, I thought was like, I like that. I thought that was a cool idea. And I think they did it well, so. However, the little man babies couldn't handle sharing their precious little film, so now the reboot is always known as a terrible film. And for what? For what? This, however, doesn't cover why I'm not really that excited for Afterlife. So I have the synopsis, and I'm just going to read it off my script because why not? After being evicted from their home, 2 children and their single mother moved to a farm in Somerville, Oklahoma, inherited from their late grandfather. When the town experiences a series of unexplained earthquakes, the children discover their family's link to the original Ghostbusters, who have become something of a myth, as many have long since forgotten the events of the Manhattan Cross Rip of 1984 and the secret legacy that their grandfather left behind. Yeah, the reason I'm not excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife, despite the casting of Paul Rudd, is the fact it doesn't look like a comedy. It doesn't feel like comedy, which is the whole point of Ghostbusters. I actually really like Paul Rudd and Grace McKenna as actors, so I suppose I've got that to look forward to. Before I get any more annoyed, let's just move on to number 8. Drum roll, please. At number 8 is The Eternals. So when I was writing this, I was convinced that The Eternals was set for a February release date within the UK. Now that's what Google tells you. But it turns out the release, at least the US release, is not till July, and I don't think Marvel are gonna release a film in the UK in February and then wait however many months to then release the same film later on in the year. Like, that personally doesn't make sense to me. That's a long time for people to be spoiled by a film. So I'm going to go based on the US release and say it's coming out summertime. However, I wrote this whole section in my script and I hate script writing, so I'm not wasting that script, so you're going to get to listen to my whole little spiel about it being released in February. So right off the bat, I do not know the likelihood of me getting to watch this film in a cinema because of its February release. It's set to come out on the 12th according to Google within the UK. However, UK lockdown isn't meant to end until a few weeks later. Is it going to end though? Is it? So because of that, like, I don't know whether I'm going to actually get to see it in the cinema or if Disney are just going to put it on Disney Plus. Personally, I prefer to see it in the cinema, but at this point I want content. I want to be able to watch films, I want to be able to watch movies, I miss it. So like, let's go ahead and suspend our belief and imagine that we're getting to watch The Eternals in the cinema. So the plot is as follows. After an unexpected tragedy following the events of Avengers Endgame, the Eternals, an immortal alien race created by the Celestials who have secretly lived on Earth for over 7,000 years, reunite to protect humanity from their evil counterparts, the Deviants. So I have no prior knowledge about the Eternals, so all my excitement about this film is put onto the cast. The ensemble cast is the reason I'm excited for this. There's some interesting choices, not in like a bad way, like in a good way, where like I'm interested to see what they're gonna do. So like the ones I'm most looking forward to are like the obvious, which is Angelina Jolie. Then we have I'm gonna pronounce his name wrong, I'm so sorry. Kumail Nanjiani. I'm so sorry. Richard Madden and Salma Hayek. So like I said, it's like kind of like an unsuspecting cast. Like Angelina Jolie is kind of like, it's a no-brainer, isn't it, for the action roles. Richard Madden sort of, because of his like serious role in The Bodyguard. It was The Bodyguard, wasn't it? The wild cards in the mix are, I'm gonna get it wrong again, Kumail and Salma. Because I don't think they've done any action-based stuff. I could be wrong though. But I am looking forward to what they're going to bring to the table. Comedy, comedy, comedy. Please let it be comedy. So at number 7 we have the first TV show on the list, which is The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So once again, I'll read the description for you. After being handed the mantle of Captain America at the end of Avengers Endgame, Sam Wilson teams up with Bucky Barnes in a worldwide adventure that puts their abilities to the test as they fight the anarchist group, the Flag Smashers. The Flag Smashers. So when Marvel first announced that they were going to be making a TV series for Disney Plus, this was the one I was most excited for. The reason I was excited for it, and I still am excited for it, was because I thought it was going to be like Captain America and the Winter Soldier vibes. However, through watching the first trailer, I realised it's probably more Civil War vibes, which isn't a bad thing. I just prefer the Winter Soldier because I just feel like it had more like a cleaner, crisp look. Plus, I really like shields, so the inclusion of that was like fun to, like, I like that. Whereas in Civil War, I felt like the story was like a lot more gritty and a bit more darker for like Marvel movies. So like I still enjoyed Civil War, but that's one of the reasons why it kinda isn't as high up now, because I watched the trailer. Upon writing my script, I realised the reason that I thought the Falcon and the Winter Soldier was going to be like Captain America and the Winter Soldier is because they both end with the Winter Soldier, and my brain just aligned it like that. So yeah. On a positive note, I mean, it's all positive. It's all positive. But on like a super duper positive note, Sharon Carter's back. Yes! Oh, love her. Like, flashback to me being at the Civil War premiere in London and seeing Emily Van Camp arrive on the blue carpet and absolutely sobbing my eyes out because I love that woman so much. So like the reason this is technically so low on the list is just because the next one, like it's the next 6, the next 6 I am like really excited about. So like, no one on they should all be honoured to be on this list. So coming in at number 6 we have Red Notice. I'm going to be like honest and just say I did not know about this film until I saw it on a random Netflix advert on Facebook. This is also true for 2 other films on this list, one of which is Moxie, the other I wouldn't say because we don't want to spoil the rest of the video, do we? So the plotline is as follows. An Interpol-issued Red Notice is a global alert to hunt and capture the world's most wanted. But when a daring heist brings together the FBI's top profiler and 2 rival criminals, there's no telling what will happen. So starring in this film we have Dwayne The Rock Johnson as the FBI profiler, Gal Gadot and Ryan Reynolds as the notorious villains. I've loved Gal Gadot since her first appearance as Wonder Woman. However, I am woman enough to say since watching Wonder Woman 84, I've become a little bit more obsessed. That's what happens when only one film out of a dozen that you're looking forward to gets released in 1 year. You latch on for dear life and dare not let go. As for Dwayne The Rock Johnson, I've appreciated his work since The Tooth Fairy. So these 2 starring together it makes me happy. I'm excited for it. As for Ryan Reynolds, I've never actually seen anything he's been in, so I'm excited to form some opinions about him because he's a neutral. Like I haven't got any opinions about him at the minute, so hopefully they turn out to be positive ones, but we'll see. I think this is the first film on this list with a plot that actually intrigues me. Hopefully I am correct in thinking that the plot will be interesting because there was a bidding war over this film. If I look at my notes, the project is currently the focus of a bidding war between companies like Sony, Paramount and Legendary. So yet another reason to love Dwayne The Rock Johnson is that he reportedly fought for Gal Gadot to get equal pay on this film, which is awesome. So Dwayne Johnson reportedly fought for Gal Gadot to get equal pay on the new Netflix movie. And then something I didn't know whilst writing this was, based on the budget alone, Netflix's Red Notice is set to be the biggest original movie the streaming service has ever produced. So at number 5 we have The Woman in the Window. An agoraphobic psychologist befriends a neighbour across the street from her New York City brownstone condo, only to see her own life turned upside down when the woman disappears and she suspects foul play. Oh, my image has gone off. Not just tell me the disrespect. Stars the absolute icon that is Amy Adams, and even if this film was pure trash, her starring in it would be enough to draw me in. I'm pretty sure this is one of the reasons film bros don't like me, because I could not care less about who directed or who was a cinematographer or who wrote a film. You could tell me one of my favourite actors or actresses is starring in 10 hours of them staring at a wall and I would call it a cinematic masterpiece. Anyways, this film also benefits off the fact that I think the plot is super intriguing. It gives me like major Girl on the Train vibes, which is good because Girl on the Train and Derailed are like the only 2 crime dramas I actually enjoy. So The Woman in the Window was actually set for a 2019 release but was pushed back to 2020 so it could like have reshoots. The Woman in the Window will get reshoots after test screenings revealed audiences were confused. So it was the COVID pandemic that then pushed the release from 2020 to 2021. Not only was it pushed back, but this time it also lost its theatrical release. Netflix is finalising an acquisition deal that will move The Woman in the Window out of Disney-owned 20th Century Studios and into a window as a global Netflix event film. You know, like, that's not something I wrote, like, that's from an actual, like, article, and I've only just realised that they've... To me, the fact the movie is called Woman in the Window and they've moved it into a window, it's funny. In a rather sad turn of events, The Woman in the Window is actually the last film to be released on the 20th Century Fox label. Disney will be shuttering the Fox 2000 label run. It is kind of sad to think that like the last film made under the title 20th Century Fox isn't even going to get to see a theatrical release. Like, I know that just makes me feel a bit emotional. So, at number 4 we have A Quiet Place 2. That's 4. A Quiet Place 2. Following the deadly events at home, the Abbott family must now face the terrors of the outside world as they continue their fight for survival in silence, forced to venture into the unknown. This was the first film that I genuinely cared about that got postponed due to COVID, so if this gets released this year, I will be very happy. Now, I don't usually watch horror thrillers because I am scaredy cat. Big baby, if you will. However, reiterating my dedication to actors that don't know I exist, we have actors who are married to other extremely talented actors, which has doubled the amount of power over me. So of course, when it was announced that Emily Blunt and John Krasinski would be starring alongside each other in this film, I put my peaceful night's sleep on the line, as I will be doing for the sequel. So despite not usually liking horrors or thrillers, I actually enjoyed the original, so I'm not just going to torture myself just because I'm assuming I will also enjoy the sequel. So at number 3 we have another movie that Emily Blunt is starring in, Jungle Cruise. Set during the early 20th century, a riverboat captain named Frank takes a scientist and her brother on a mission into a jungle to find the Tree of Life, which is believed to possess healing powers. All the while, the trio must fight against dangerous wild animals and a competing German expedition. Now, if you know me, you know I have a strong affinity towards Disney theme parks, and along with that, Disney rides. So there's no real doubt in me enjoying this film. And unlike many others, I actually enjoyed the Haunted Mansion film. Despite the fact the first time I watched it, I was convinced it was a horror and made a whole fiasco at a sleepover because I wasn't going to be watching this film because I thought it was a horror. I then watched it, and at the time I wasn't into Disney, so I didn't really have any opinions on it. But when I rewatched it recently, I enjoyed it, and I felt embarrassed about the whole fiasco thing because it's actually not a scary movie at all. So there's that. I also really love Pirates of the Caribbean, so I have faith in Disney doing right by the Jungle Cruise. Now, if I wasn't excited enough for this film, my man Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is starring in it, and so is Jack Whitehall, and I think he's funny, so that's cool. Now at number 2 we have WandaVision. After the events of Avengers Endgame, Wanda Maximoff and Vision are living the ideal suburban life in the town of Westview, trying to conceal their powers. They begin to enter new decades and encounter television tropes. The couple suspects that things are not as they seem. So WandaVision is a surprising underdog on this list because I've never actually been interested in either character. But as an editor, the teaser clips Marvel have been releasing for WandaVision really drew me in because they're so stylistic and aesthetically pleasing. Like, so much so that it inspired me to create my own. I will put them here. But it was like Wonder Woman 1984, like that first trailer they dropped to was it Blue Monday? What was the song? Blue Monday New Order, was it New Order Blue Monday? Anyway, that like first trailer, I could just sit and watch that on repeat, and that's like how I feel about the WandaVision trailers. So that really attracted me towards this show, and I don't think I would have been interested if it wasn't for these. Personally, I've always been curious about like other timelines that are adjoined to ours, so I'm curious to see how Marvel will tackle this like interesting yet sometimes confusing topic. And I will be judging how well they do that based on how many questions my mum asks me whilst we're watching the show. Here's a hint, the less questions the better it'll be. So I'm also super excited about the casting of like the side characters, especially Catherine Hahn as Agnes, because like I think she's so underrated, and I'm just excited to see her in a Marvel thing, and I just love her, okay? And then we have Teyonah, I'm gonna say Teyonah, I'm sorry if I pronounce these wrong, Teyonah Parris as Monica Rambeau. I'm so excited to see Monica Rambeau. Yes! And then we have Kat Dennings returning as Darcy Lewis. So I have seen the first episodes, but I'm gonna like table that for like a later video, because I'm gonna watch the full series and then hopefully make a video reviewing the full series, or even just talking about it. So yeah, I'm not gonna say anything, so there's no spoilers, don't worry. Now the moment we've all been waiting for. The woman, the myth, the legend. At number 1 we have Black Widow. Following the events of Captain America Civil War, Natasha Romanoff finds herself alone and forced to confront a dangerous conspiracy with ties to her past. Pursued by a force that will stop at nothing to bring her down, Romanoff must deal with her history as a spy and the broken relationships left in her wake long before she became an Avenger. I'm going to put it out there now and say if Black Widow had been released last year, or if Wonder Woman 1984 had been released this year, Black Widow wouldn't be number 1. Which isn't to say Black Widow doesn't deserve number 1, because it definitely does. The fact it took Marvel this long to give Black Widow a standalone film is disgraceful. And because they've had this much time, I expect the best film possible from them, because it's the least she deserves. So the cast for this film has me excited. So of course we've got Scarlett Johansson returning as Natasha Romanoff. We have Florence Pugh, Rachel Weisz and David Harbour joining the MCU. Like, yeah boys. So plot wise, I'm looking forward to them exploring the Red Room more, because that's always been like an aspect of like the MCU that I've been interested in, but obviously they've never really touched upon it, and I'm not a comic reader. I tried that for a while and then got really confused by like the issues. I don't know, I just couldn't figure it out. So I've had to like wait for the MCU to explain this to me, so I'm looking forward to it. If they don't have Bridget Regan guest starring as Dottie Underwood in this film, what is the point? It's such a wasted opportunity. Why not have the original Black Widow in the Black Widow film? Like, do that for me, Marvel. Even if you have to add her in now, please just do it. So there you have it, the top 10 films and series I am looking forward to in 2021. Hopefully I'll get to see as many of them in the cinema as possible, but I'm not crossing my fingers. I'll be happy if I just get to see them. So let me know what you're looking forward to in 2021. Is there any ones on this list you're looking forward to? Is there any different ones? Put them in the comments below. And that's it. I shall see you in the next one. Bye.